Welcome to the Fitchburg Cultural Council. We're a volunteer body in the city of Fitchburg, and we're opening this meeting today at 4:32 p.m. Today is Tuesday, the 20th of July. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Today we're going to start immediately with a few things for the public. This is a public meeting. The public's welcome to speak on anything on the agenda. At the beginning of the meeting, we don't have anyone from the public here today, so there will be no public comments. And we'll jump right into our agenda. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about our grantee updates and modifications. Today our grantee coordinator, Eileen Berger, is not with us, so we won't have her report initially, but we do have some updates that came from the Treasury office at City Hall. St. Bernard's has been paid for their robotics team, which was one of the grants that we funded. It was $900, and that was mailed on July 2nd. Also, the Abolitionist Park grant was also sent out on July 2nd for $1,000 to Newview, who was their fiscal agent. So that's very exciting news. And also, Eddie's Music has submitted his grant report as well, which is at City Hall, waiting for our treasurer. So since our treasurer is not here with us today, we're going to skip our treasurer's report and move down to our grantee reception. The grantee reception is on the 13th of July. August. I'm a month ahead. And it's going to be at the Fitchburg Art Museum. And I wanted to open up to Audrey now with what she has to report from the PR subcommittee.
Our evite for the grantee reception and community input has gone live, and all the counselors here have received invites, as well as the grant recipients, and those who have attended previous Fitchburg Cultural Council events in the past. I'm not sure where I'm looking. I don't know where I'm supposed to look, but anyways. So I encourage you all to RSVP, say yes, invite your friends, invite members of the public. The grantee reception and community input, emphasis on the community input is necessary for our council to put together our council priorities for the upcoming season, so we want your feedback, but we will also be highlighting our grantees, and it'll be really nice.
Quick comment, the mayor is not going to be able to attend. However, he mentioned that Joan David, his administrative assistant, and Patrick Hare, the chief of staff, are going to attend, and they would like to give some comments. So that's
fantastic.
Exciting.
Yeah, we are looking for some guest speakers, and that's great to hear.
Good rep.
Is there any other news on the grantee reception, Claudia? Anything we need to know?
I'm working on filling up gift bags for the number of people that we agreed to fund, and they're almost ready to be received by all of our visitors.
That's awesome. As of the invite going out, we have 31 yeses and 3 maybes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
This early, that's really, really good.
I looked at that today.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
I forgot if I mentioned that we also have a Facebook event on there for those who prefer having the Facebook reminder. So if you're on Facebook, share it with your friends.
I believe we're going to have cameras there, right, Derek?
Yeah.
At least one.
Yeah.
Excellent. And we're going to have a welcome table, which I think we're going to have Claudia there.
Yes, and I think Miriam, was going to help me with that.
Yeah, that's great.
I've notified the grantees to please send us graphics so that we can put that up on their slide and give them a highlight of like maybe a couple sentences or so explaining what they do, so that later people can go up to them and talk to them about it. And also offer to let them bring in promotional stuff to put on our grantee table, which will have flyers for their events and more information and stuff.
Excellent. So is there anything we need to know or do that we haven't discussed for the grantee reception?
I'd just like to comment that this is going to be rain or shine.
Yes.
That is correct.
Okay.
The Fitchburg Art Museum has a tent, an event tent, so that will help us. And I should be visiting the art museum sometime this week to finalize table plans and stuff like that. Getting the RSVPs is helping that. Do we want to talk about the press release at all?
Yeah, I've started crafting a press release to go for mainstream media distribution about the event, including some background about what the event is and the importance of the community input piece of it. So I'll share that with the group, and then if it meets everyone's approval, I'll run it by the mayor's office and we can get that out the door.
Thank you, Matt.
Should I read it out loud, or? Because I don't think we can deliberate over email, right?
No.
No, we can't deliberate over email. You can read it.
All right.
It's-
Do you
we
do you
don't-
want me to
it's
read
not
it,
a,
or do you want to read it, Matt?
You can read it.
All right. Okay, so it says Fitchburg in all caps. Learn about the robust creative events and performances happening in Fitchburg and share your thoughts on future projects when the Fitchburg Cultural Council hosts its annual grantee reception and community input meeting at 5 p.m., Friday, August 13th at the Fitchburg Art Museum. The event, including light refreshments and live music, is free and open to the public. The reception will highlight the dozens of programs that received funding from the Fitchburg Cultural Council for 2021. The event also includes the council's annual community input meeting, where members of the public are invited to provide feedback on the kinds of arts, science, and humanities programs they would like to see supported in the coming year. The 2022 grants cycle begins this fall, and input collected at the session on August 13th will guide the council in its funding deliberations. Musician Eddie Troxler will perform live during the event. In collaboration with Fitchburg Access Television, interviews will be conducted for the council's monthly program, FCC TV, which airs at 8 p.m. Wednesdays and is viewable on demand at fatv.org. For more information, please visit www.fitchburgmass.gov/708/cultural-council, period.
I think it's excellent. I think it
Yes.
should go to the mayor's office.
Okay, thank you very much. I will
Great.
transmit.
My one feedback was, I think, more emphasis on the community input aspect.
Okay.
We had an RSVP where they said, I don't know why I was invited to this. I'm not a grantee. And I said, well, if you're a member of the Fitchburg public, we need your feedback. That's what's really important.
And comments, Joe.
Not to the press release, but I did want to ask about the entertainment. And we did agree and vote to pay Eddie for his services. Is that right?
I don't remember if we voted on it, but I remember highly encouraging it. But I don't know if we have we've settled on a number.
Okay. Well, without our treasurer here, we really can't vote on a payment decision on that. But I really think that it's important that as a cultural council that we pay for the performers that perform for us, because we fight for them to get paid by others, and we should do the same.
I agree.
All right, so we can request an invoice from Eddie and then have that on the next
Audrey,
agenda.
Yes.
Two cameras
Okay.
with the green lights.
I got it.
Oh, that's where I'm supposed to look.
All right, if there's nothing else, we're going to move on to the Fitchburg Open Studios. Is there anything else for the grantee reception you guys want to discuss? It's coming up. It's
I know,
exciting.
it's coming really soon.
Coming fast.
It's
Great.
coming. It's coming very soon. Excuse me?
Give me a shout, Audrey, when you're going, and I'll see if I can pop in too and check out the space just for production purposes, just to have a look.
Sounds good.
Great. All right, so we'll move on to the open studios. We have the brochure. I don't know if everybody's got one. You can pass that down to the guys down there. So
The boys are
the guys at
separated.
the end. So we basically have 26, and the last one on number 26 includes a number of women artists at the Rollstone Congregational Church. It looks like everyone has a location, so I passed this around that everybody could just look it over. If there's any changes or adjustments we want to make, or any tips or news or things we want to add, we certainly could do that. Fitchburg State has discussed, sorry, not Fitchburg State, the Fitchburg Art Museum has mentioned possibly running some sort of an ad in it, a paid ad, and that's to be determined.
Oh, nice.
So that might be coming still, but otherwise, I just wanted to run this by the council and see if you guys approve. and as soon as I can get it finalized, I'll send it over to you, Matt, for the printing.
Is this essentially a scaled-down version of the last one?
Oh, yes, this is a mini copy.
Yeah.
This is not, it's going to be like a proper,
Yeah, I don't know,
Oh, it's
Tamar.
gonna be-
It's kind of
okay.
small.
The life-size version's a
this
little
is
bigger.
like just for your
I
pocket.
actually really like the small size.
I like it. I mean, you know.
if you want a small size, we can do a small size,
Ask you a question.
I suppose, but it might be hard to read for some folks.
Yeah.
So,
So, with regard to open studios, if there are any artists that still wish to participate, they can. Is that correct? We just can't advertise for them because we just finished the advertising
well,
after the deadline?
until this is printed, they could technically still go in this, and I'm,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, so if anyone's...
Otherwise, they could go on the website.
Okay, great. So we can get you advertised, but maybe not in print if you don't get to us as soon as possible with your interest in being part of the Open Studios event. And we have tons of room for more artists to participate. So please come on out if you can.
Yeah, we do have room.
I'll talk for people who are listening to this and saying, what is Open Studios? What
Would you like me
is
to
it?
tell you? So basically, the concept is, for example, this is done in Lowell. There's a mill in Lowell that is studio spaces. And so open studios would be when everyone is in the same location, they're all open the same day, and the public's always welcome to come and go from studio to studio. So since we don't have BF Brown open yet, this is a preempt to when it will be open. The concept being that if somebody had an art space downtown or they had a studio at their home, and we do have people, we have 2 from Gardner this year, we have 3 in Ashburnham at the Creative Connection, and we have 1 at Ashburnham at his home. So the idea is that you have the map and the addresses and the information, and you get in your car, and for now, since we don't have door to door to door where people can visit on the same weekend, they could at least use this and go location to location to see everyone's work. And that we tried to get some of the Gardner artists, the 2, to come to Fitchburg, but the idea is also from the art perspective that the artists want to show off their studio, because there might be things there that people would want to buy, because ultimately everyone wants to sell art. So if they see the studio, they might be able to make suggestions versus just bringing 5 paintings. So that's kind of the concept. The City Hall has also offered us, if we wanted extra space, they would be open to opening the meeting rooms and the front hall. We haven't had anyone needing space there, but they've offered, and they offered again today. So we have space.
And this is the first year we've introduced musicians into the event as well, right?
Yes.
We have some performing. I think there is a musician performing on Mill Street that Saturday. I don't know if
We
it's
do
been
have
booked
that.
yet.
That's
I think
new.
so.
I didn't know that.
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's confirmed yet.
That is exciting.
But it may not be directly tied to Fitchburg Open Studios. It could be a North of Main initiative, or other city-related event that's happening. But yeah, I had heard that there's other things being timed with this weekend, so
That's
it'll
really
be
good
really
news.
nice.
So one thing I did want to bring up, and you guys can think on this, we have some time to figure it out. We need to pop up somewhere as the council. I'm going to be across the street popped up at the Reimagine space. I would be happy to get one of my team to be there so I could be elsewhere, but I'd like to maybe, if everybody could think about that weekend when they might have like a block of time, that we could have like a ongoing place for the whole weekend at Mill Street possibly, where we are there all weekend. So people could get information, they could pick these up, they could, we could talk to them about the council. So if everybody could just think of their schedule that weekend, if you're around and available, maybe we could do like shifts and blocks of time so we can have a council station for the weekend.
Yeah, that's great.
I'd really like that.
I'm looking over very quickly at my permit request, but I think we were approved, we have been approved to pop up at the Upper Commons.
Okay. And would that be better than being at Activate Mill Street? What do you guys think?
I think it's good at least having someone at Activate Mill Street, since the Renaissance Fair is also going to be happening at Riverfront Park, so
People
that
will
would be a
get
good way
coffee.
to send them this way.
Is it overkill to have 2 tables?
It's never overkill to advertise the Cultural Council.
I mean,
It
we
all
could
depends
also
on
get a
what we can-
table at
what
the
our stamina
Renaissance
is.
Fair, though, too.
In the past, we have had a table set up at the Blacksmith Festival, and it was pretty well attended. I spent the entire festival at our table and talked to a ton of people. So it's definitely a great event for us to get visibility.
So
and
should we
it's
try to
supposed to
do
be bigger
3?
this year than other years.
Should we try to do 3 then?
Let's see if our schedules can accommodate it.
I know,
'cause
right?
It's not many of us, and there's a lot of tables and a lot of time.
Yeah, I know that I can't commit, because I'm open.
Right.
I think
Right.
we should, if we can only do one table, we should do it in the most populated part of the events of that weekend. So that's
would be the
either Mill
festival.
Street or the festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So 2 max, 1 minimum. All right. So we can work on that for next time. All right. So that's what's happening with Open Studios. If anybody has anybody who wants to come join last minute, that definitely can. And once you guys, if you think this looks good, we will get it finalized and over to Fitchburg State. And what would be the turn time? Do you think, will we have enough time to get it by the 13th?
Oh, I would think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll touch, I've made a note, I'm gonna touch base with them tomorrow. So,
Awesome.
depending on how quickly we could have the finished file. Are you hoping like this week to have that, or?
We can wait, maybe. It depends on you guys.
Okay, I'll get that.
Like, my goal was just to have it, so we have it for the grantee reception. Other than that, I think we're flexible.
Okay.
It's kind of roughly done, so
Yeah, it looks great.
no corrections or changes or additions, and I have to reach out to the art museum, and then we're good, so.
And you're going to send these to the artists so that they can double check their
Yes.
information?
Not usually, because we've got their paper,
Creative-
I've got paper from them.
Creative
Oh, okay.
thought,
Handwritten,
but
so.
not technical.
I wasn't sure if Derek Craig wanted to be
Could this
written as
be
Derek Craig
blown
or as
up
Yo Daddy-Do, because that's
And
his
put
like
on
artist name.
FATV.
So,
If you want to reach out to them, we can, but I thought we'd go with it.
I mean, without
Saves a little extra work.
yeah, for sure.
a ton of,
Okay, so if there's nothing else for the open, anybody else, any other comments for Open Studios? Did that answer your question, Claudia?
yes, but I've
Yes.
been chatting here. FATV has been very good to us.
Yes.
And I'm not a real good technical person, but I think up things and wonder how, if this could be photographed in some way, shape, or form to be projected on FATV.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where, like-
That's something that the PR subcommittee
I
can
mean,
work on, and
I go on FATV once in a while just to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be cultural council, but
It could be,
All
you're
of
thinking like a
this-
slide that shows,
Yeah.
you know, what's
all of
involved.
this, could they project it, and, if, you know, somebody at home is flipping through what's going on FATV,
Yep.
boom.
Okay.
I believe because we're members of FATV, we can even do a PSA as well as get some slide advertising for the event.
yeah, absolutely, we could do that. In terms of for slides, prepare like 1920 by 1080 slides, and probably just send that to Nate or Ann, and I think,
1920 by 1080 pixels.
yes.
Oh, now you've lost me.
That's
Oh,
okay.
no, you don't have to worry about it.
Don't worry.
It's
I
just,
got
it's just the ratio of the screen, and that's how
Goodbye.
But yeah,
Got it. That's a good idea, Claudia.
I even have a PowerPoint, a Google Slides template on our drive where you can just use that and put Fitchburg Open Studios information and ask Nate and Ann to, if they can add that in their repertoire of slides. But we can also, if we have time for our next film date, we can also do a PSA for Fitchburg Open Studios.
Okay. Great idea, Claudia.
I
You can do
tried.
that. You can do that, no problem. All right, so that's all I have for that. I did want to mention on new membership, if anyone has people and ideas, the mayor's office knows we need people. I mentioned it to them. Somebody at City Hall asked about joining, so that's good. I won't mention any names, but that's exciting. So, and I think the fact that they know is a good thing as well. So anybody in the community, we're actively looking for new members. This is a term that's every 3 years we cycle through, and we can take a second term, which puts us at 6 years. So, but you do time out. So we have a lot of timing out that's going to happen in the next year. So we are looking for new members who can volunteer some time each month and some extra time for certain positions to help us. And it's a volunteer city position in effect. So if anybody has any ideas, I'd be happy to reach out. So would Audrey, so would Joe. Joe's worked with a lot of us to help us learn what the protocol is and how to do it. So if anybody has any suggestions, we're happy to reach out to them on behalf of the council, and keep it in your heads with anyone that you know in the community. Yeah. So just something I wanted to mention. Joe?
So I just also want to add, I've had two people interested in joining the Cultural Council. I have meetings in progress of getting scheduled to talk with them and give them an overview just to see if they're able to make the commitment that's necessary. And Audrey, I'll invite you as well, so that
Yeah. I shall
we
come.
can do this tag team way, sort of, and hopefully inspire people to join. In addition to that, I did notify about 175, 185 of our community stewards who are extremely motivated to help out in the community, and this is certainly one way to do it. And hoping that I get some interest out of that, but there's been nothing yet. It's only been a couple days.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
I want to add for the grantee reception, I think we're going to do something where we have all the current members coming up on stage and kind of talking about, hey, just so you know, we're also looking for new members.
Definitely should be part of the agenda.
Yeah. Most of us time out next year, so hopefully a lot of people are considering to renew their term, but as right now, there's only 2 people that will be, that have a term through 2023 or 24.
So we have some work to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good thing to keep in our minds. Moving on to the next thing, it's reviewing our past meeting minutes. Since we don't have a quorum tonight, we can't vote on those, so we'll have a bunch to vote on next time. That's exciting. Also, I wanted to get an update from Derek and Audrey on FCC TV, how it's going, what the next date is, if you need our help.
I think it's going great, and that's credit to Audrey. She's doing a really good job organizing it. I remember we finished wrapping the last episode, and I looked around and I said, that's our best episode yet. And so I think we're getting better and better, and the hosts are really, the host Casey doing a good job, but also our guests have been really great too. They're bringing stuff now to showcase, and they have a lot to share. So I think it's going great. I really do. We're getting better and better every time.
And for the public, what's our next date when people could see it on TV?
The next episode that is airing is, what day is today? Today's Tuesday. We have a new episode airing tomorrow, Wednesday, at 4:30 p.m., and that will be our Cultivating Culture episode. Derek thought of that idea, that name.
Nice.
I liked it. And that will be the growing places, talking about Little Sprouts program, as well as the Fitchburg Art Museum, talking about the 85th Regional Art and Craft Show that is currently on exhibition right now through September, which features local artists. And who else is on there? Davis Bates from Sea Songs and Stories, which has a performance at the Senior Center not this Wednesday, but the following at 10:30. That'll be really cool, and that is our first Zoom interview. What?
You gonna perform something?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a clip of his performance as well included, a couple snippets, and the Art Stewards as well, which they are currently doing a new series this summer on gentrification, and it meets every Tuesdays every Tuesday at 6
p.m.
6 p.m. So you should definitely attend that. If you're interested, email Francisco Ramos at New View Communities to be added to get the Zoom link, and it's all virtual.
Or you can email Jessie as well, our council member Jessie Olson at the Art Museum. She's very involved with that.
They're also welcome to email the Cultural Council. What is our address?
Our new email address is culturalcouncil@fitchburgma.gov, which is going directly to the administrative assistant's inbox. And I have access to the computer there to check it, and we'll be going there once a week to check our email. And they're happy to forward it to our Gmail, but it's a city address, and we have to go into the city to check it. But that's our new email address.
Can you
How
repeat
exciting.
the?
Yep. It's culturalcouncil@fitchburgma.gov.
Thank you.
That's great. You said all the old addresses are forwarding to that? For
Yeah.
those who have our old addresses?
The old email addresses?
Yeah.
No, we haven't set that up.
Oh, okay.
In the Gmail account, you mean? The old Gmail accounts?
Yeah, the Gmail accounts. Okay. Perhaps we could forward those, at least temporarily, with an auto reply if that capacity is available.
Okay. I'm making a note.
That's great. I'm glad we got a city email address. That's going to be very helpful for us with the cultural district designation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, wonderful.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
So we should have people emailing that address instead of the fitchburg.mcc@gmail from now on?
I think
I would
so.
say yes.
Yeah?
Now that we have an official city email address, we should be routing everybody to that address going forward. So that means changing our website, our Facebook,
Yeah.
all our other social media, et cetera.
Tamar, maybe you and I can tag team so that it's checked twice a week, so each of us.
We have to do it in City Hall, so
Yeah.
we'll have to make it a schedule to go in and check it.
Oh,
We
we
have
have
to
to make an
physically-
appointment.
Yeah, we have to physically go into the mayor's office to check it.
Well, that makes it regular then. Once we figure that out, we'll let people know that the emails will be checked on those 2 days.
They can't expect,
Yeah, unfortunately.
not a week, but not, yeah, so that's exciting news. And last, so anything else for FCC TV? When's the next filming?
Next filming will be August 3rd, and that will be highlighting school programs.
Do we decide if we're going to do all of them, or we're going to bring them all out, or just?
We're gonna do them, they're gonna each have their own individual interview, so we're not gonna do a roundtable thing. We'll just do them individually. We'll cover after-school programs on a different episode. But that way we can have 4 guests per interview, in which we have 2. We're hoping like it would be nice if we had like 2 teachers and like 2 students. I think we discussed at the PR meeting 5 or 6, but I talked to Nate from FATV, and he suggested 4 is a good number. So I figure
That's exciting.
we'll go with what Nate says. He's the professional.
So on August 3rd, what time do you want the rest of us there?
I always try to come at 4:30, but I understand if 5 o'clock is more reasonable for people, but
Okay.
we are open to the studio as early as 4:30.
Okay, sounds good. See you there, Claudia, right? If at all possible.
Very important crew members.
All right, so moving on to our last agenda item, grant training for the next cycle. Joe, do you want to speak about this?
I didn't come prepared to speak about it, but I know that the Mass Cultural Council has notified all local cultural councils, including Fitchburg, that they're changing the grant administration software that they're using for our grantees to submit their grant applications and for us to go through the approval process with that. They're holding a seminar for the cultural councils. All of us are welcome to attend, and I believe it's next week. Like I said, I wasn't prepared to talk about it, but it's within the next couple of weeks to go over it. It becomes effective on August 1st. It'll be active for us to have access to it and use it. The grant cycle itself remains unchanged from every other year except for last year. Last year was unusual because of the pandemic, but our grant cycle remains the same, that the grant Grants will become available for submission on September 1st. They will expire, the deadline to have them in is October 15th, and grant approvals will be completed before year end so that we can have our final report submitted by January 18th. I think the 18th was the date.
Okay, so we'll need to have our grants trainings ready on the 13th so that the public knows about them.
We should have dates set and ready to tell folks during our public input and grantee reception.
So how many trainings did we do in the last cycle? Did we do 3? I feel like we did 3. Was it
Yeah,
2?
I think we started with 2, and then when it got extended, we said, let's do a third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually do one in September and one in October.
Yeah. And Eileen has agreed to facilitate those.
That's awesome. So do we want to put out some tentative dates now? And then we can vote on them at the next meeting? If everybody want to think about them, since we can't vote today, but at least we could think maybe later.
Do we have time to vote? Do we have time for a vote before the next meeting? I don't think so.
Our next meeting would be in September, so we'd have to do it late September.
Well, we would have-
Is this a voting,
August, right?
is this a voting matter? Because we will have a PR subcommittee meeting between now and the grantee reception.
Yeah, I don't think setting the date of a training is in need of a quorum vote, just a general agreement. We're not making decisions for finance or whatever. We just need to make sure that we have some of our membership available to be there to conduct the training
Okay.
and answer questions.
Yeah, I'd like to get something on the calendar sooner than later,
Yeah.
so people can at least think about being there, right? Because it's kind of difficult. And before we had discussed like nights that are the best for the public. So I know the art stewards are Tuesdays. So maybe we want to think about Wednesdays and a Wednesday and a Thursday. Is that, or a Monday? Anybody have any feelings? So this would be one in September and then one in October.
Well, Claudia, you and Eileen are working on the public input survey, right?
We haven't actually gotten together for that, so.
Oh, actually, the survey wouldn't come out until the actual event. I was going to say maybe add that
them.
as a question of like, when are the best nights for you, or when do you think?
Be nice to have them set then, though.
Yeah, it would be. Unless we, if you think that you and Eileen could have the questions ready for the next PR subcommittee meeting, we could turn it into a virtual link, and then we could send out the survey in advance as well. Unless we think that it would be better for the council to vote and approve on the questions during a quorum meeting.
So I'm just thinking about the dates. Like, I don't think they need to be.
No, I know, sorry.
For that, that's okay. So for September, is it possible we could do maybe a Wednesday? So that way we're not interrupting the art stewards trainings. And we have a holiday that month. So what does everyone think? Maybe the 22nd?
What day of the week?
It's a Wednesday
Fine for me.
as a tentative date.
Sure.
What date?
The 22nd, it's Wednesday, the 22nd of September.
Okay.
So it's after our meeting, so we can remind each other that that might be something great for us to attend. And then if we do maybe earlier in October, say the 6th, it's another Wednesday, or should we spice it up and do a Thursday? Any thoughts?
Thursday would be good.
Maybe the 7th?
This is all going to depend on Eileen, though, as well. If she's leading it, we don't know what her schedule is.
Yeah, we can just call
can
it
ask her.
tentative tonight. And
Yeah,
we
that's
can
what I
check
want to
with Eileen
do.
and see if she's free to teach.
So it would be the 22nd of September as a tentative grant training, and the 7th of October as a secondary night. And then we hit the deadline.
And what time would these be at? 5 o'clock?
We did them, in the past, they were pretty early.
Yeah.
I always worry about people like getting off work at usually 5 o'clock and then needing some time to arrive as well.
Because now we're not on Zoom.
Yeah.
So we want to say 5:30, 6:30, 1 hour?
Or 6 o'clock?
Well, that makes it harder for us because then it's a later night. That's just my feeling. for anybody who's volunteering.
You know, if there are people that can't make the training, we can always do one-on-one training with them.
It's true.
I've done that a lot.
So 5:30 to 6:30.
Tentative dates, yeah. And then we can start planning and ask Eileen when she's back from vacation. All right, guys. We are done with everything on the agenda. All right, so in that case, it is 5:05. So we're going to adjourn the meeting.
Need a motion?
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
I second.
Do we have a motion from Audrey to adjourn the meeting? And a second from Claudia to adjourn the meeting? All in favor?
Aye.
Right,
Do you have to
meeting's adjourned?
hit the gavel?